morning, Gillian Bowen here with the morning report for Tuesday, the 4th of August. Let's start with the latest on the Middle East conflict because, as we know, it has a tendency to impact share markets. It's become a he said situation. Yesterday, the US president claimed new talks with Iran would take place Monday afternoon US time, and he cited these talks as justification to abandon his planned weekend attacks. But Iran has since contradicted Donald Trump, saying there were no talks underway and no meetings are scheduled. The contradiction doesn't end there. The US president has come out again to say the talks are on. Regardless, the initial optimism of a possible de-escalation has impacted the global oil market and been on the minds of investors overseas. So, with this in mind, let's take a deeper look at what's on the cards for the Aussie share market, as well as commodities and currencies. Well, the ASX looks like it's heading for a flat open, with index futures unchanged shortly after 8 a.m. Yesterday, the ASX 200 gained 0.47% to 9,019.3. 4D Medical was among the top performers again, up more than 9%. DroneShield was also on that list after gaining more than 7%. Biggest decliners, Fortescue, which was down almost 4%. Elevra Lithium also lost a touch over 3%. On the commodity markets, let's look at global oil prices first. There was a plunge on Monday after Donald Trump held off a fresh attack on Iran, as I said at the top, and that was all in the hope of getting a deal that would then lead to the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and boosting global oil supplies. But Iran, as we know, is saying the opposite. Also contributing to the price drop is the expiration of the September contract on Friday and the start of the less expensive October futures. And OPEC has approved September's production quota, which is an increase of around 188,000 barrels per day. So Brent futures settled down 4.7% to $83.77 a barrel. Base metal prices, so copper and aluminium futures, they were higher. Copper prices rose on Monday as lower oil prices alleviated anxiety about economic growth and demand, while the market also focused on dwindling inventories. Gold futures settled down 0.4% to $4,090.5 an ounce. Iron ore futures settled down 1.5% to $93.66 a tonne. Let's take a look at currencies. The Aussie dollar has been hovering around the 70 US cents mark. On the yen, there's been confirmation that Japan and the United States launched a rare joint yen buying intervention and vowed to take further action if needed to shore up the currency. It's the first such action since 2011's coordinated action to weaken the yen following a devastating earthquake in eastern Japan. All right, let's head to Wall Street now. So the Dow Jones Index finished up 1.3%. The S&P 500 was 1.5% higher and the Nasdaq gained 2.1%. So it was a strong first trading day for the month of August for Wall Street and a record close for the Dow. Signs of easing US-Iran tensions pulled down crude prices, as I said, and it's another week that is full of corporate earnings and also US economic data. They've got an update on jobs at the end of the week. Most mega cap and growth stocks gained. And what about Amazon? It crossed the $3 trillion mark in market value for the first time, with shares gaining more than 4.5%. Alphabet and Meta rebounded from steep declines in July. But investors were still shying away from Apple. It lost 1.8%. AI neocloud companies such as Nebius and CoreWeave notched up strong gains. CoreWeave was up more than 19%. SpaceX, which on Tuesday US time will report its first quarterly results since going public, was up around 2% with around 20 minutes left of trading before jumping shortly before the close to finish up more than 5%. Hotel operator Marriott International slumped almost 7% after forecasting third quarter profit below market expectations. Now, since the market closed, we've had an update from Palantir Technologies. The company has raised revenue and income forecasts for the full year. Its second quarter sales are beyond Wall Street's estimates, where it's described commercial demand as otherworldly. Turning to US government bond yields, and the drop in oil prices pushed yields lower. The US 10-year Treasury yield lost 6 points to 4.69%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield lost 4 points to 4.25%. To European markets, the continent-wide FTSE Euro First 300 index gained 0.4%, and the UK FTSE 100 was flat, losing just 0.1%. So European shares started the month higher on Monday as oil prices fell sharply on hopes for renewed diplomatic efforts to end the war. Most major regional bourses ended higher, but London's FTSE was the only outlier. There was a big tumble for AstraZeneca. It lost 9% after reports of a possible $400 billion merger of the European pharmaceutical giant with US-based Bristol Myers Squibb. It's now time for the watch list. Reporting season is ramping up this week, as you'd know. We have Pinnacle tomorrow, REA on Thursday, and James Hardie and Nick Scali on Friday. We've got a reporting season calendar on the market news section of the CommSec website. It lists all the companies reporting each week in a drop-down menu style setup. And as the season rolls out, it gets updated with results and dividends information as well as it comes to hand. On the economic front, we've got ANZ job ads later today and also household spending for June. In the US, corporate earnings are a focus there too. Advanced Micro Devices, Caterpillar, Pfizer and McDonald's are all due on Tuesday US time. And later in the week, there will be updates from data storage company SanDisk, as well as Uber and Walt Disney. And that's it for today. For further developments on the local trading session, please tune into the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon. And of course, the Market Close video. Have a great day.